My name is Veronica Sanders, and I'll be doing a narrative speech. Have you ever had a large part of your life change in an entire day? I have. Between the time I woke up that morning to the time I went to bed at night, I was living in a new town, in a new room, with a brand new person. Although change is often intimidating and hard, in the end the experience is all worth it. The day I moved into college was a day full of great experiences and memories that I will never forget. Some of those memories include packing up the car and trailer and figuring out where to go, meeting my roommate for the first time and decorating our brand new room, and leaving my dad for the first time. I was a bit overwhelmed and intimidated by moving away from home for the first time. The challenges began in the morning when we were packing up the car and trailer and figuring out where to go. I am not known as being a very light packer. I have a lot of clothes and things, and I was also given the responsibility by my roommate to bring the television, futon, recliner, and refrigerator. So we had to fill the trailer with all of those things. And when it came to packing my car, figuring out how to get everything to fit properly was a bit like playing Tetris. So when we arrived in Vermilion, we had to go through a maze type of scenario in the Dakota Dome parking lot to pick up my keys and all the things I needed to move in. There are different lines in this process depending on where you live, and I lived in the normal dorms, so we had to go through a certain line. And I was a bit intimidated by this because I didn't really know what I was doing, and it was very chaotic. So I had my boyfriend drive the car because he was an upperclassman and he had been through this process before. So when we arrived to the dorm building, we parked outside of it, and the USD football players were there to help us unload. So that was really helpful because we had a lot of big furniture. And trust me, they were very happy to help me move because I was on the first floor. The kids who lived on the third and fourth floor, they weren't so happy to help move. At this point, I was feeling kind of overwhelmed with everything that was going on, just because it was so chaotic. When I finally got into my room, my roommate was already there and getting her things ready. She was there with her stepdad and her mom. My roommate and I had only met once over Facebook, so it was really awesome to get to meet her for the first time. When we were unpacking and getting everything figured out, her stepdad lost interest and asked my roommate Courtney if he could go to the car and get the cooler and bring it inside so he could drink beer while we were unloading. And Courtney said no because the dorms are dry. You can't have any alcohol, even if you're over 21. So he went out to the car to go drink beer because he was very uninterested with this process. We began decorating our room, and we realized that we brought very similar things. Both of us had dogs and brought pictures of our dogs and friends, and we brought actually very similar paintings. So that was really cool to see how similar we were. At this point, I had begun to be much more comfortable in our new home, and I was beginning to focus on the fun parts of moving. So after we got all settled, we went out to eat, and we went to Red Steakhouse to get dinner before my dad and my boyfriend had to leave. My dad is very obsessed with steak, so it was no surprise that he wanted to go to this place. I am his oldest child, and I think that by doing this, he was trying to postpone him having to leave me for the first time. I could tell when he left and when we said goodbye that he was sad, and to be honest, I was sad too, and was already feeling a little bit homesick. And while I had to do a lot of adjusting that first day, I realized I was glad to make the decision to go to college there. While moving that day was filled with many emotions, in the end, I am glad that I was brave enough to make this big change in my life. Change is definitely intimidating and can be very challenging, but in the end, you make the best memories and learn the best lessons from it. The best advice I have from this experience is to not be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Leaning into discomfort is one of the best things you can do to make great changes in your life. The best experiences in life come from trying something new.